Welcome back to Floor to Explore. Whether you're curious about player comfort, engineering precision, or top-tier tennis court performance, this is a conversation you won't want to miss. Today, we are going to talk about the pre- and post-installation of Goodspeed Tennis RedClay Pro at Palmetto Tennis Center in Sumter, South Carolina.
In 1927, it was brought to red dirt, was brought from the mountains up around the Asheville area. Obviously, chalk clouds back then, but it developed players so much better. And Har-Tru is so labor intensive, price intensive to keep up. So when Mr. Edwards' family wanted to do something, he was our mentor, Bill Edwards, and he was a champion on red clay courts in the South in the 60s. So that was kind of where my idea came from, because that's what I grew up on downtown, which are no longer there, by the way. But that's really kind of what the emphasis behind all this. We didn't want to be, we're a small market facility. We didn't want to be, how do we separate ourselves from all the rest of them? And we didn't want intense, expensive maintenance. The product, the way it's done with the chippings and rubber, and Kyle can address this more than I can, because he's become an expert on keeping up on these things. We've had some trial and error, obviously. We're pretty much under control, and but that's where the idea came from. You know, I started playing tennis in 1965, maybe 66. And a bunch of older guys, business people in the city that actually mentored us, and a lot of college players, a lot of really good players came out of that group.
How did you get to us in Germany? What was the connecting point?
I did a lot of research online and looked at, the way things are put together, the idea of the way the base is with the 8 or 10 square inches of rock, the 2 and the 8 clay base, and the top dressing and the permanent lines were made. That was a real important factor, because I don't know how much you've dealt with Har-Tru, and Kyle's more of a Har-Tru guy than me, but it's no fun. You need to replace your lines every year with Har-Tru, but most people don't, and you get tremendous of bad bounces. Another aspect was this product doesn't freeze, so you don't lose a lot of play during the weather.
That's a good thing. And coming back to your point with Har-Tru, for me it was new at the US market anyway. So finally you are the very first I really get in touch with, and what we have done together, which I really more than just appreciated it. I'm so thankful for this connection. I can't say it more often than a million of times. But at these ASPA meetings, there are always presentations, technical presentations, and so on, from the different companies and applicators, suppliers, and so on. So when we have been to San Antonio last December, Bob, Nee, and Evelyn, she's from Malaysia, from the factory there, the sales director for Asia, we of course joined these kind of presentations. And one was from Har-Tru. And I have no idea what I can expect. None of us. And we just listened carefully after that. And when we went out, I asked Bob, what do you think about Har-Tru coat? You tell me what you said to me, Bob.
First thing in my mind was, I can't believe anyone would go to the time, expense, and maintenance commitment to install one. It was a nightmare, the way they described it.
And even more, because the presentation, it was a Har-Tru person, a salesperson. And finally, she told 45 minutes what is all not good with a Har-Tru coat. I was just shocked. How can I make such a presentation? I was speechless at the end of the day, because I didn't know why you tell these things. We were surprised, because I know all these kind of systems, and they are not really good, but they sell in the US, and I have no idea why. If I would be a potential customer, sorry, sir, I wouldn't buy that. And you explained it already, Sam, before with this type of Har-Tru courts. So finally, you just double confirm what I already expected. But okay, so coming back to the point, you make some online research, so you find something, and then it came to the point for some exchange by email, and then later on took a plane and fly over the ocean and just look for some course. How did it come?
So with the backing of the city, we want to make sure when we do something big, we're going to do it right. And this is something big, and it's going to have long-term effects. So we want to make sure that, for one, we can see it in action. So going to the place where it originates. So there was no thought in our mind to really get over there and see it in person. And I thought, that's an investment, and that's a big thing that we believe in here, is to invest not only in our citizens here in Sumter, but in what we build. So to bring people in and to invite people is very, very important. And that would give it the best service. So going to Germany, being able to see the courts, me from a tennis aspect, also from a construction standpoint, it was great. The only thing I wish I brought my tennis shoes and racket. So that didn't give me a good idea of the base, but okay. At the time, it was Tommy and Norman showing us around, and extremely knowledgeable and very helpful in us better understanding what we were seeing, versus just being able to play. So taking what we learned there and able to bring it back here is now how we're kind of constructing our maintenance aspect and learning a lot along the way. This past year was, as Sam said, a lot of trial and error. Perfectly said, you don't know what you don't know. Ralph, we've had conversations, is there a maintenance book that we should follow along with? And again, it's a new area. We're in the Southeast. The weather changes monthly, weekly, daily. And there's a lot of fluidity in what you have to be able to do, and these courts allow for it. We've had tournaments and pouring down rain.
Yeah, let me just address that while he said that. Yes, he set me up the last week of October. We had our Windows 15K Pro event on the clay. They were player development. I just dying to try this, which is a 15K is high-level college players and lower ranked pros, and they've already booked to come back next November. So that's already booked. First 4 days of the tournament, it rained every day. We finished their tournament on time on Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock, championship match. Now, it was a long week. We were out there a lot, but the course dried, and at that point we were really had a few little wet spots, so we had to work around that, but now we know where everything is. So we've got a pretty good mapping of every court. And it was not really a low spots, it's just maybe, I think Ralph, you told me to pull back the top dress and take like a heavy duty hose and wash this stuff through. We did, and that worked quite well. With our extreme temperatures in this summer.
Yep. Coming back, so what was the major point for you to say yes? DCC.
Yeah, so what I saw in Germany was an indoor court. They threw a bubble up. Saw snow on the courts on the outside. And I'm not sure if those were your courts on the outdoor ones, because the lines were listed, and so I was like, that's going to cause a lot of trouble. But going into the bubble and seeing at least two different groups of guys playing singles, one in their mid-60s, I would assume, and one a younger group. Yeah. And if it wasn't for the white hair, I probably wouldn't know who was who. The guys probably in their mid-60s were running and sliding. And I was like, oh man, I know Sam's not doing that on our hard courts.
No, I just came off knee surgery. I saw a lateral meniscus about a year and a half ago. And my orthopedic said, you can't do two things. You can't run anymore, which I used to like to run. And you can't play on hard courts. I've been back on the court since last October a year. 0 pain. And I'm 73 years old.
Wow. Yeah,
that right there is my biggest testimony because it allows you to teach and play.
Yeah. So in person, I was like, this is a no-brainer. If we don't have to, for one, roll the courts to keep them level, they stay level. For two, we don't have to worry about lines lifting. That cuts down on a ton of work on our staff. And for three, we can increase the longevity of players' lives here. I mean, that's the best service that we can offer.
Yeah, and all of our league tennis, our adult leagues, 55 and above, 55, 65, 70s, yeah, they women, all of those are all. We just moved everything to hard courts, from hard courts to play.
No one is willing to play on hard courts. So what was then the final key? What makes you to say, this is it? This is it?
A facility standpoint, maintenance standpoint, we don't have a big staff for the size of our facility. And knowing that the maintenance aspect of a Har-Tru court takes hours and hours and hours, versus we can walk out there right now, within an hour, I can tell you how each court is going to be taken care of, and then go and do it. Versus hours of observation on Har-Tru. So, for one right there, that to me is a no-brainer on why we chose this over. From a player standpoint, yes, it takes a little bit to get used to, but once you're used to it, it plays been Har-Tru. It feels just as good, if not the same. And then what you don't know is what you don't know. So if you're only used to Har-Tru, it does take a little bit in your initial impression, not always the best, but your second impression, and then your third, fourth, and well, you're not going back to Har-Tru. So making sure that we make that first impression about it as we can make it. And again, we can do that in half the time that a Har-Tru court would. And that's all from the maintenance aspect.
Well, and the lines are Har-Tru, you get right, left bounces, up, high bounces, you get all kinds of stuff off the line. With lines that we're using here, the ball speeds up, but stays true. So you've got at least a shot if somebody gets a big serve, you got at least a shot of blocking it back, whereas Har-Tru may be over there, you just don't know. Because every time you move it over, you're digging up the court. And the divots and all that, you get a lot. Whereas the base on this is consistent. It's there. It's what it is.
So that means someone who is good, very good in technical play. So playing precise, for him it will be a great gift because he can train perfectly and he can play in the match perfectly. And finally, it's not 50-50 how the ball is going left, right. So there is no luck in the match.
What are they telling you is what they're noticing in terms of the difference?
Even actually, I mean, any player will tell you this, Har-Tru to RedClay is going to be different. The Har-Tru is the American initiative to help American tennis players train for the European circuit on clay.
Okay.
So it's the American invention. With that, it's not RedClay. You can throw red into the mix, but it's not what we have. It's not what is in Europe. And for somebody that's only growing up on Har-Tru courts, when you see a base layer and it doesn't look the same, when you see the top dressing move underneath your feet and it looks a little different, it takes a small adjustment just to, as a player, getting your eyes right and being able to track a ball and having a good, confident feeling underneath your feet with your balance. So the first impression is very much just, I need to get used to it.
Okay.
And as players do, and they spend more time out there, they realize how much more of a superior surface the red clay is overall, playability, longevity, than Har-Tru.
Well, and the clay court shoes really help with the red clay. Whereas, not so much. You can go hard court shoe or a clay court shoe or Har-Tru, which you should do.
I didn't realize there was a difference. There's a different shoe for clay.
Yeah.
Actually, I got them right here. So in this right here, the green, that's a clay court shoe. These are my hard courts, the white base. You can see the pattern at the bottom allows for material to move through and help you grip the courts. There's nothing here to pass through.
Okay, that makes sense.
Well, how about we just skip to the finals?
Okay. Yeah, it was cursed.
Right before opening. Awesome. I mean, such a cool process.
And the young man that you got over your team was a shark win.
And it's actually quite incredible. We've had a few moments where we've had to cut out the base, an underlying problem, fix the problem, replace the base, and we're back playing in 2 days, 3 days. I mean, it was awesome. You look at Har-Tru and you got weeks of maintenance.
So in that situation, Kyle, you cutting out a patch and then fixing whatever, doing whatever repair, and then are you tamping back in that base layer, or do you have to bring out the paver and you just tamp it?
If it's small enough, you can do it hand trowel.
Bucket and kind of like you're doing your walls.
Yep,
That's it.
and then just rebroadcast the top plate and you're ready.
Yeah, and the problems we had really were subsurface problems anyway. It wasn't the problem with your product. We had some soft spot sinkholes, maybe 8-10 inches in diameter, usually along the coping along the brickhead concrete ditch. We did have one major issue with the French tornadoes. The way they put them in, they didn't do it right. So that was a little more of a big problem. We'll work some, And then, we got a contractor here that your guys trained. They're very good with repairs, etc.
At the end of the day, Bob, they really took everything from the very beginning serious. They looked after it, and whatever happens, if there is some repair work necessary, they could teach how to. Now, so when there is anything, so just what they can do it on their own, no big deal.
We still have the paver here in the downtown warehouse. Needed something.
Yeah, our line cutter is also still there.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So now after call it 1 year, how is your experience? How would you describe that? All over, all the pros and cons, if you just put all the things together. What is good and what is maybe not that good?
I mean, the first year is always going to be growing pains. Would still do it again.
Yeah.
Given the choice, would still do it again. Obviously, you learn things that you do differently. If you could do it again, you would improve it tenfold. But court plays great. They look beautiful. People enjoy them. We enjoy them. I think the one thing we're looking for is trying to get more clinics and lesson play out there. So right now, this past year, we saved them to let our public give a full trial to them, let more people play out there. This year, we're going to try and really bring our juniors out there and further their development. And we'll see where it goes from there.
Well, and Bob, how to give you an insight of how we think about, obviously, programming the house takes care of all that. But we're also an event center. We do everything to economic impact on the city, which goes into about $18 million a year economic impact from our events. We've gotten 2 new events this year. One of them is Har-Tru, because it's the Junior College National Championship for women. So but we do have a J200 back right up against that. So we're going to go from one event to the other. if we had time to plan it, we pull the ATP out of a problem. There's a California site canceled, and we brought her. We had 6 weeks to get ready and run the tournament. It was on the tennis channel, so we were. It was not a fun 6 weeks, but it worked. These guys, fantastic job. But that, if you had time to do it like it's supposed to be, in that 1.4, 1.5 million, I'll break it out again. So those are the numbers that we're looking at.
It's impressive.
We tried to get the guys to play out there, but they just came off the clay court swing, and a lot of Americans didn't want to get back on the dirt just yet. So,
yeah, we did.
Timing for us wasn't ideal with the clay courts, but it's okay. I'm sure it'll be better.
Last June, with the collection at the Serena's coach, the player development guy, and we got De Lorenzo, who was a great college player here, but she's from Italy. She said it's the best clay, some of the best clay she's ever played on.
Really?
And that's a very high level. She played #1 for Ohio State and went on to the pro circuit. So, I mean, that tells you what kind of player we're talking about. Now she's a player development for the WTA women's pro circuit. So we're trying to, our goal is to get them to come up here and training here every winter.
What was her name, the pro that you mentioned?
De Lorenzo. I can't remember the first name.
Her coach?
What's the coach? Coach was a guy, one of the boys. Played #1 for Virginia national championship. And he was Serena's hitting partner. They're up every year.
Okay.
There was 3 of those young African-American fellas. They were 2 brothers. I can't remember. 73, it makes it hard.
That's not true. Damn, it's just the number, 73.
For a college kid, right? He used to try to run me out of here, but I won't leave you.
Yeah, I think the main points are asked, and you can't do more than to say you just would redo it again, or you are not regretting it. So the question is now, from our standpoint, we just want to really focus on the clay courts, our clay courts, to really get them in the country of the US.
Here, again, being able to see them in person and then being able to spend time on them. They look great, and of course looks play a big bit, right? Send them here, they see it. Send them here for a long weekend, they play on it, they experience it, then it sells. And it'll sell way better and way quicker once they get to experience it.
And they use the clay, they were rotating through hard clay. Something like that would be probably really good. And that's really where we would like to get down to, because we can get more ITA stuff, draws in more Americans, put them on red clay, even though it's probably 50% international, even though it's here. But they're experiencing something they don't experience anywhere else.
Really thankful that you give us this opportunity,
But you allowed it to.
Yeah.
Stay ahead, stay curious, stay grounded. Subscribe for new episodes and share this podcast with anyone curious about flooring solutions. Keep exploring the future of flooring with Floor to Explore.